During election time, candidates have the opportunity to present themselves and share their plans. However, we don't often hear from the public about their opinions on the candidates and the promises that they make. Today, we're out on the streets of Vancouver interviewing people to hear what they think about the election. Why is voting considered a civic duty in Canada?
I suppose everyone needs to do this duty because we are citizens of Canada and we stand up for our rights for our country.
And why do you think it's important to vote?
For future life, our children, for us, and for everything, just like,
Because I think Canadians really find it important to have a voice in who's going to be leading their country and making all the decisions that impact their life.
And are you planning to vote this year?
Yeah, of course.
And why is that important?
Well, I want to have a say in the leadership of the country, so I want to make sure that my thoughts and perspectives and opinions are represented in who gets elected.
Well, we have to decide on who's theoretically running the country, so we have to choose the best one who's available.
And you?
Well, choose the right one because we haven't had the right one for a long time.
Well, it's not clear that it is important. That question sort of assumes that it's important. It's not clear that it is important. Henry David Thoreau said something along the lines of, when it comes to voting, you should vote with your feet. That the ballot box is not the real place where voting takes place. Like, the idea of the vote has to do with decision making and choice. And the real nature of choice is primarily moral, not electoral or political, at least in the official sense of political. But it's moral, and I think Henry David Thoreau kind of had the right sense of that. When it comes to politics and voting, we're really diminishing the sense of what a choice and voting is about, which is about, putting your money where your mouth is. Voting is kind of a way to not do that. Anyways, and voting is not clear either because there's direct electoral democracies and then there's representative democracies, and ours is a representative democracy, and it's very hard to get a clear sense you're going to get what you vote for.
It's the way we live, pretty much. It affects us in so many areas. It's important.
It is important because of, how everything is right now. I want to vote for Conservative to improve how everything and what's going on, and everybody knows what's going on here.
I guess it depends on the person. I take it as is, but as possibly a civic duty, so I do vote.
Some people think that their vote doesn't matter, but it really does, because you're setting an effect on everywhere that you go. If you vote for something, everything's gonna change, because change is important. Change is you need change, or else things are just gonna stay the same, and there's not gonna be any growth, there's not gonna be any impact.
Rights and responsibility, it's a privilege to be able to vote in a Canadian election, and your rights and responsibility would be to vote responsibly.
Do you think federal election contribute to a healthy democracy?
I think so. I think at least among my friends and the people that I interact with, that in Canada there's a three-party system, so it helps with some divisiveness. I think there's still like a healthy debate around voting for a candidate versus a party, and I don't see a level of entrenchment. Like I must vote for this party and I have to vote for that party. So I think it's I think it's actually a good representation of a good democracy.
And are you planning to vote this year, or?
If I was going to vote, I probably would vote for the Conservatives, but I don't like where the Conservatives have gone since the Reform Party took over. I preferred the more red Tory tradition when David Orchard was trying to lead that party, where they had a much more a left-wing and a right-wing orientation. They didn't have a strong right-leaning, and definitely the Reform Party and the Alliance Party has kind of ruined the Conservative Party, generally speaking, so it's kind of complicated. But I would probably... I don't think Trudeau's been very good for this country. So that's not necessarily a vote for Pierre, but sometimes voting comes down to you're voting against, you're not voting for. And I just don't like that whole reduction of the human decision-making and what makes a society, what makes a good polis. Voting is sort of the least aspect of it, not the most important aspect of it. Getting out and getting involved and developing civic institutions, creating stronger civil societies like unions, churches, social parent-teacher. Those are way more important political things than the vote.
Oh, well, you should research what you're voting for, because some people are really uneducated and they're just voting for whatever without researching. You should research what you want to vote for, research what's important to you, and then vote on said party that's doing so to your beliefs and to your values.
So do you think that by voting, you could contribute to a healthy democracy?
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess just to go out and vote, and get informed on the policies of your local MP.
And why is it important to vote?
So the country goes in the direction that you see best for yourself and your family.
Well, they have huge responsibilities, and we have a Bill of Rights, and we should have a corresponding Bill of Responsibilities that we don't have. So,
Responsibility is to vote. You have to vote.
And why is it important to vote?
Well, because if you want to have a say at all, you say it through voting.
All people should be united in front of Canada. I'm new Canadian, so I think everyone needs to be together just for the strength of this country. That's why it's very, very important. I'm new Canadian, but I will participate in election. Yeah.
How do you think voting can help build a stronger community and more stable government?
Well, I mean, this is secondary, but I think if people were informed voters, and so whenever an election came up, they took time to reflect on the things that mattered to them and the things that made their communities healthy and strong, and they educated themselves on the candidates and the different policies and platforms, then just the act of being involved in that way, I think, would build a stronger community. So just the act of preparing for and becoming educated on who to vote for, I think, creates a stronger community and a stronger discourse.
Looking around you, reading the news, watching the news, seeing what's going on, and comparing the two main parties have put out their platforms. You need to read the platforms of each party. Do your research. Right now, it's so easy to go on Google and search up a name and look at the person that you have searched up, look at their history, their voting history, the things that they have talked about, and you compare what they have said to what they are proposing to do now. That's what I think all of us should be doing. It's so easy to do that. It's not like 30 years ago when you would have to just rely on current newspaper articles, or if you wanted to research something, you would have to go to the library. It's just at your fingertips on your phone.
because a lot of the parties are different, like they have different values and different opinions, and I love other opinions. I think other opinions are so important. So if we all vote for somebody different, it like shows that we all have different opinions. But like, it's important to vote, I think, because like I said, change is important.
Inmates running the asylum for the last 10 years, and it's very bad. We got to get rid of them. So I'd be so happy that if we could vote those guys out and get in someone different, better.
Who listens to the people and do what they need to do for the people, not for themselves. I think that's the biggest thing we've seen happening is governments just doing what they want to do for themselves, not for the people of Canada.
Choosing a right leader, everyone gets together and choose a right leader, what they think, who it is.
And do you believe politicians keep their promises?
I do largely. I mean, I work in the corporate world, and I think often leaders will come with a promise or a platform or initiatives that they want to execute. And I think if you actually execute 50%, then that's successful, and more is better. But I don't see a lot of. I think for the most part, I like to believe that the initiatives and the promises that they make and the initiatives that they're going to try to execute are ones that they believe in as well, and that's what they're going to work to implement when they're in.
Some do, some don't. Irrespective of party or well, all of them, to be honest, like they're politicians. Some of them keep their promises. Some of them are just saying things to get the votes. They'll say whatever to acquire the votes. And it's just based up. It depends upon you to use your common sense to decide how to vote responsibly.
Are you voting this year?
I have already voted.
And what is your concern?
Well, there's scandals, right? The Lavalin scandal, the one that, the charity scandal, just one scandal after another.
And lies, just lies. It's gotten to the point where most people don't trust the government at all.
So do you think that the candidates actually make promises that they don't keep?
Absolutely.
Yes.
What is your concern?
Homeless. A lot of people going through depression, mental health because of the living, how everything is so expensive here.
Affordability.
Yes. Medical too, even. Like right now, I'm pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and I have to pay for insulin, which is like $500 for 2 weeks. So that's kind of crazy.
And are you planning to vote this year?
Yes.
I mean, not really. I mean, what's the opposite of having a government is chaos. And so I've seen countries around the world that don't have a democracy and don't have strong governance or government structures. And I'm grateful for the one that we have in Canada.
What does good leadership means to you?
Good leadership, I think, is like a combination of integrity and heart, and so and bravery, I think. So somebody who has some backbone and some integrity to implement and voice the things that they think are important, some heart so that they recognize the people part of it, and yeah, some bravery, because a lot of the times the decisions that politicians make are unpopular and you can't please everybody. And I think, unfortunately, right now there's a lot of hostility and towards politicians, and I think that kind of sucks a little bit.
A good leader is the best interest of the people, not the money, not the whatever, just good interest of the people. And it doesn't matter ethnicity, race, sex, gender, sexual identity, like that shouldn't matter. It's just the good of people. That's it.
Do you have any concern as a young person?
Absolutely, I do. I think that with whatever is happening in the United States right now, it's very alarming to me, and I just think that it's not. There's no growth. It's just all going downhill. Yeah, it's not good down there.
Like someone who can make intelligent decisions, not just saying something because it sounds good, not just repeating something that they think will make them popular, someone who will do what's right for the country.
See, good leadership is like I'd like the least amount of leadership. Just let the economy run itself and let the people run themselves. I don't like any interference by the government. So that's my opinion. The best leadership is the least leadership.
Yeah, I would agree. And I also think that one of the biggest things in leadership they need to do is listen. They don't listen to what people are telling them they want, you know?
Choosing a right leader, everyone gets together and choose a right leader, what they think, who it is. Yeah.
And what is a good leader to you? What it means?
Good leader? Oh, a lot of things actually. Someone who can improve the country how it was before Liberal came in. Because I lived here in downtown for like last 15 years. At that time it was conservative. I've never seen so many homeless people in downtown. Like over the years it got crazy.
A good leader is one that helps the general society at large achieve their goals. So that's about it.
Do you believe politicians keep their promises?
I do not.
Well, I think Donald Trump is keeping his promises right now, and he's got everybody hating him for it. But so there's one person who's actually keeping their word, but in a lot of cases, politicians say what they need to say to get elected.
And I think the number one priority for a politician is to get elected, and number two is to get reelected, and whatever else happens after that is, so looking after the people isn't one of them.
We have heard what the public had to say about the election. Thank you for watching. My name is Sherry Soltani from Skyrise Media Society.